Ravens Rundown coming up in just a few moments from right now. But before we do, want to hear from you guys. Who was the Ravens starting quarterback when you became a fan of this team? Was it Joe Flacco? Was it Vinny Testaverde? Was it Lamar Jackson? Was it Steve McNair? Who was it? I want to hear directly from you guys. Who was that starting quarterback when you became a fan of the Ravens? Ravens Rundown, powered by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us. On today's show, we have the latest Ravens news and rumors, including the situation with Lamar Jackson, his return, as well as a trade idea for Deebo Samuel and some free agent targets to watch. Let's go ahead and start with the Lamar Jackson situation. He's yet to report to offseason activities at this point in time. But there's a new update from NBC Sports' Peter King that indicates that the return could be coming sooner rather than later for Lamar Jackson to Baltimore. The latest from Peter King, he says there's no indication that Lamar Jackson plans to skip training camp at this point, that he is expected to report at this point in time. This is not a formal holdout situation for Lamar. Now, the contract, as things stand right now, he is entering his fifth-year option where he will be owed $23 million for this upcoming year. And he could play on that contract, also could play on a franchise tag next year before he could even see a contract extension. Those things could happen. But as we have talked about on this program, the Ravens would like to get that extension done sooner rather than later. But it appears that Lamar Jackson is the one that is wanting to see this drag on a bit, betting on himself to get paid right now. And Greg Roman is changing up the offense a little bit. There are some new elements that we've heard about. Still remains to be seen what exactly those are. But I got to tell you, even with the changes involved, I'm not necessarily concerned about Lamar's absence at the offseason activities at this point in time. I know that this is a young receiving core and that they are going through some changes, and you get the running backs back that missed most of last year. But, you know, I think that things are going to be okay, that Lamar Jackson is an experienced enough player that he will learn and these guys will adapt accordingly when he does arrive. And Lamar's a smart guy that he will pick up on these changes pretty quickly here of what they may be. I don't think that the Ravens offense, even with what we've heard about of Greg Roman making some changes here and there, are going to be that drastic, comparatively speaking, to the scheme that's already been in place as far as that goes. I know that you're trying to get guys to adapt and to adjust and learn how to play with Lamar, but that'll come with time. I'm not really concerned about these guys missing the underwear Olympics right now with Lamar not being there, that they'll adapt accordingly as things go along. Want to hear from you guys. Are you concerned, though, about Lamar's absence, whether it's the contract situation or whether it's guys trying to learn how to play with Lamar, whatever it may be? This is our pinned comment today. I want to hear directly from you. Type Y for yes, type N for no if you see any concerns with Lamar's absence one way or the other right now. Y for yes, N for no. You're about to get an ad break. Take advantage of it while that ad is playing. Get your votes in. Y for yes, N for no. So the folks at the 49ers Fansided site put together a trade idea for Deebo Samuel. And for a while now, we've seen the Ravens connected to Deebo Samuel with these trade talks, as he's one of the last receivers that is still on the trade market. And this idea that was proposed from Fansided includes 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick. The Ravens then get Deebo Samuel as well as a third-round pick in this trade idea. And, you know, this is a lot for Deebo. I'll tell you my opinion on this one way or the other. But before we do, I want to make sure that you are subscribed to our main Chat Sports channel, where we are talking the NFL all the time, 24/7, each and every day. Not just about the Ravens, but all 32 teams in the National Football League. We are closing in on 300,000 subscribers. So do your part. Help us out now. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV to subscribe to the channel and be a part of what we're doing each and every day there on Chat Sports' main channel for NFL coverage, as well as the NBA, college football, you name it. We have it there on youtube.com/chatsportstv. Subscribe now. So I look at this trade offer, and that's a lot for Deebo Samuel at this point in time. For me, that's too much because think about this. Not only are you giving up all that draft capital, but with that, too, comes a new contract and the money that you would pay him as well. You would be granting San Francisco relief that they don't have to be the ones to pay him in the process, but then also giving up all that draft capital as well. To me, that is too much. That is where I draw the line. I get it. The Ravens do need to make a splash and find an elite receiver, whether it be a trade or next year's draft. This has to be addressed at some point, that they have to get another receiver at some point in time. Rashad Bateman, I like, but I don't know that he's going to step up and be an elite receiver in this league at this point. That there's still a lot of questions that remain with Rashad Bateman. But the Ravens appear to be betting on Bateman right now, unless a move comes otherwise. Deebo Samuel is a talented player in this league. He's been terrific as just an athlete, a receiver, and a running back, a do-it-all type of guy. And with the way that the receiver market is going right now, he will get his. He will get paid by somebody. Don't know if it's going to be San Francisco or who it will be, but that to me is a bit too much. I would like to see Deebo in Baltimore, but not at that price tag. That to me is a little bit too high. What do you guys make of that trade idea? 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick, and also getting a third in return. That's a bridge too far for me. What about you guys? Type T for trade, type T for pass. Let me know one way or the other how you feel about that trade idea. T for trade, P for pass. A couple names to watch on the free agent front for the Baltimore Ravens of guys that could probably start right away if the Ravens were to add them to their roster. DeSean Jackson and Will Fuller, as well as Justin Houston. Now, on the receiver front, Jackson, Fuller are at the back half of their careers, and Fuller's dealt with injuries. Also with DeSean Jackson, we've seen that his career has been a roller coaster. It has been up and down. For those guys, I think if you can get them cheap, that would be fine, and you could slide them in as your wide receiver 2 or 3 potentially, that they could be instant impact guys, but I do have concerns about the health. Justin Houston is the one that makes the most sense for me. Look, they've already signed him to a UDFA tender, okay? He's got the situation where he knows this scheme. He's been a part of this Ravens system before. You have guys that are on the up and up there with this Ravens defense that will need time to develop, and Houston can be a nice stopgap presence, I think, for this team. Last year still had a decent season with 4.5 sacks and 6 tackles for loss, and I've told you this on this channel before. I still go back to what he did in that terrific 2014 season he had with the Chiefs, that with what he had with all those sacks that year, this could be a very good veteran presence for this locker room in Baltimore if you bring Justin Houston in to work with these young guys and see what he can do for one more year there in Baltimore. To me, that's the one that makes the most sense. And they put this tender on him, and no one else has jumped on it at this point. So I think that when it's all said and done, if I were a betting man, I would say that Justin Houston is going to be back in a Baltimore Ravens uniform in 2022. Now, at Chat Sports, we're talking about Justin Houston. We're talking about Odell Beckham, all of those great free agents that remain available at this point in time with nonstop NFL news and rumors on our main channel. Subscribe now and check us out there at youtube.com/chatsportstv, as well as our channel here. If you're not already subscribed to the Ravens Rundown, subscribe to that as well, youtube.com/RavensTV. Give me a follow on Twitter, Tyler Jones Live as well. I'm talking Ravens all the time there. Just because this show ends does not mean that we're not talking about the Ravens on other platforms as well. So give me a follow, and I'll shout you out on the channel if you give me a follow. So check this out. A couple of shout-outs for you. Kirk Caldwell, Kevin Richardson, and Maverick. Thanks for checking out the channel. They shared out our video on the last episode we did. We told you that we would shout you guys out if you shared the show. So thanks for checking us out and sharing the show with all your friends, all your fellow Raven fans, make sure that they come back to the channel as well here on the Ravens Rundown.